A ride sharing video. Understand you may be watching it a couple days behind on YouTube because it can be censored or oftentimes limited, but we try to get it to you as soon as we can. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Today, what we're going to be talking about is the notion that the Democrats are trying or attempting to use their power to go after President Trump. Many are suggesting that the Democrats are trying to prevent President Trump from becoming the 47th commander-in-chief. So what we're going to be asking today is, do you genuinely believe that it is the Democrats indeed that are trying to prevent President Trump from basically being reelected? Or do you believe President Trump is perhaps guilty of at least some of the issues he's being charged with? Because folks are suggesting that it is indeed the liberals that are attempting to, at the very least, squash their opposition. Is this a liberal hit job on President Trump? Is President Biden perhaps orchestrating and leading the charge to take President Trump down? That's what we're asking today. Because at the end of the day, there's no denying there's a host of charges being bestowed upon President Trump. But where are they coming from? Are they coming from the actual actions of the president? Or are they coming from liberals that want to stay in power, do not like Trump, do not prefer the direction Trump has for this country, and are simply trying to silence the former president? That's what we're asking today. Excuse me on the microphone, but that is what we're asking today. So, going to make it clear, we do not block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. Make no mistake about it, the program is and always will remain MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are always welcome on the program as well. You know what we say on every broadcast. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. The fact that you may disagree with the host never means a damn thing on this program. So understand, when you come in the box, you will be allowed to speak your point in its entirety without any fear of the host trying to limit your time. We don't do that here. We always observe First Amendment free speech rights. So looking in the comments, I see traitors. Who are the traitors? I see the term traitors. Are the liberals placing this endless amount of litigation on President Trump? Are they the ones that we would suggest are traitors? How about some of the Republicans that are suggesting that Trump was indeed trying to steal the 2020 election? Are we suggesting that they are traitors? Looking in the comments real quick, Trump is a major traitor. Wow, Mo. Is there a such thing as a minor traitor to this country? No, the law says he's a traitor. All right, talk to the libbies are the haters. The leftists are the traitors. You know, it's crazy how much the phrase treason and traitor has been thrown around, particularly since the Obama years. Everybody's a traitor. Everybody's committed an act of treason. It's kind of like folks talk about the term racist or even socialist. If you throw it around too much, does it lose its value? Going straight to the box, Janae 247. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Janae. We're asking a question. With all of the litigation that Trump is going through, Janae, is it a liberal hit job, or is Trump perhaps guilty of some of the charges that are being bestowed upon him?
First of all, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sweetheart?
I'm doing good.
Good. First of all, I don't think anyone's guilty until they're proven guilty in court, let's be honest.
Okay.
So I don't care who you are. I don't even feel Biden, even though I can't stand the fella, I don't even think he's guilty. He's going to have his day in court too eventually. So is Hunter. So is, just give it a chance.
So wait a minute. So when you suggest that Biden is going to have his day in court, you do believe Biden will be indicted?
He will, absolutely. Okay. You can't indict a sitting president. You know that. So unfortunately, well, our hands are tied, so we can't do anything. People are saying, well, where's the docket number? It's like, you guys, we can't do anything to a sitting
So
president.
let me ask you this
You don't
question
know
then. When you have folks suggesting that Biden has dementia, doesn't know where he's at, can't string together a sentence, do you think you could successfully indict someone that so many are saying is not even mentally there?
To be honest, I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, this is so unprecedented. Everything that's going on in my whole life, I've never seen this. It's disgusting. It's a stain on America, and I'm saying on both sides. I say this very truthfully. At first, I was like, oh, no way. It's only the the libs and the Democrats. They're the ones that are bad. No, not at all. It's all. And I've said this from day one, Handsome. I've always said that I can name 32 Republican representatives that I would like ex-nate out. I said that from day one.
Wow.
So people can't say, "Oh, you're just all for just being on the liberal side," or excuse me, the MAGA side. First of all, MAGA's it's a brand. It is not on the ballot. It's bringing awareness to make America great again. Whether it was great before or not, shit, believe in what you want to believe in. But let's get down to the nitty gritty. This is a stain.
You're pointing, but you're pointing to, you definitely believe there's issues with liberals. You believe there's issues with Republicans. What about Trump? What about Trump? Do you think that Trump himself maybe have committed any crimes at all?
I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not going to point to anyone that has not had their due day in process. He has a chance to go to. So far, nothing's come through. The Democrats and the Libertarians have been trying for 8 years now, and I'm sure you've heard that before.
Yeah.
But come on, we're tired of waiting too. Well, this is crazy.
So let me ask it to you this way then.
Well, hang on, people. Hey, let me just say this one thing. People on TikTok are evil, and this platform is disgusting.
How are they evil? How are they evil?
Hold on. Out in the real world, you don't see this kind of hate. I'll tell you that right now.
Are you for real?
I'm in San Diego right now. There's nothing but love, period. I live in the, I don't want to say where, but I'm in different areas at all times. I travel. There's nothing like the hate. Look at this right here. Shady Lane. You hang with the hateful.
So let me ask you though. Hang on. Okay, so let me ask you. Do you believe what Trump is suggesting, that the only reason this is happening to him is the liberals trying to remove their opposition? Do you believe what Trump is going through is a liberal hit job?
Well, isn't it obvious?
You know, there's a lot of hold on, hang on. In regards to your question, is it obvious? There's a host of Republicans, including his own vice president, that is speaking negatively of him. You think Mike Pence is a liberal?
This is the thing. No one really wanted him. He was up against a lot before he even walked through the doors. Once he walked through those doors, boy, he had targets on him on all sides. Not just the Democrats.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think nobody wanted him?
Well, because he opened up the doors to a lot of shit that people didn't know about. I mean, I'll tell you right now, Handsome, I didn't know some of the shit that I honestly started finding out until he actually hit the street.
Elaborate. Give me an example of something you didn't know until Trump got elected.
I knew there was shady shit going on, but with the money situation and how and where our money goes to legally, let's be honest, into a lot of these people, politicians' pockets. Yeah.
You didn't know that? You never heard of...
No, hold on.
Hang on, wait. You never heard of the Iran-Contra scandal or Halliburton? You never knew about corrupt money until Trump came along?
You didn't let me finish.
Okay.
You didn't let me finish. I didn't know to the extent it was. Yeah, maybe I just closed my eyes and
there you go.
Realized
there you go.
I didn't realize. I mean, trust me, I've been in politics because my dad was such an advocate for the conservative Republican. That was the good party back in the day. And I'll tell you, I learned a lot from my dad. But did I follow it to a T the way he did? No. But I learned a lot. And I'll tell you, I voted for Obama first term. And I ex-nated fast because I started seeing stuff that I did not like. And then when Trump came in, I thought, okay, this is going to be crazy, but it's going to be a nice little eye opener.
Why did you think it was going to be? Why did you think it was going to be crazy?
Come on, he's not a politician. He's a businessman. So I didn't really think. I thought, oh, here we go, a businessman coming into it, because you've only heard of politicians only running. You really, honestly, at the end of the day, you never really heard of a business.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think? Why do you think only politicians had been running and we didn't have a businessman?
Because they're disgusting. They're dirty. They're disgusting. And a lot of these politicians out there only want what's best for their pockets.
And you don't think businessmen, whose sole goal is strengthening their bottom line, you don't think that applies to businessmen?
Absolutely. You're playing two sides right now. I'm just talking about politicians.
I'm just asking a question.
Businessmen are just as bad. Absolutely. People don't know me. They think they know me because they've seen me on TikTok, and the left hates my guts for whatever reason, because I voted for Trump, or I voted for Trump. They don't know me. They don't know they don't know where I live. They don't know my husband. They don't know how many kids I have. They don't know if I have grandchildren. They don't know if I have a dog.
Okay.
They don't know me. But
All
they
right.
think they know me because of my stance on who I sit with.
Okay, I got another question. Now, you mentioned that you voted. Did you vote for Obama the first or second? You said the first term, right?
First. I would have never voted for him for the second term if I would have known what went on in the first term.
How did you feel? Because you voted for Obama the first term. You voted for Obama the first term, but then you voted for who? Mitt Romney on the second term?
Yeah, I actually did.
So how do you feel considering you voted for Obama with Trump saying that Obama was born in a different country? How do you feel about that?
That doesn't bug me. That bugged me more that Trump's know that we're supposed to be originally born here in the U.S. Honestly, I don't care if you can run our freaking country. I really don't care where you come from. I hate to say that, Hanson. But we're at a point where I'll take anyone at this point.
So let me rephrase it then. Let me rephrase it. Obviously, you don't care, but when Trump said he was born in a different country, do you believe that's true or not?
I don't know. I haven't seen his birth certificate.
So you're not for. So you're not for certain. You're not for certain if Obama was born here or not.
Not for certain. You can tell me all day long until I actually look at or verify his birth certificate. Do I want to do that? No.
Have you seen Trump's birth certificate?
Don't care.
So are you not for certain? Are you not for certain that Trump was born in America?
Not for certain.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Appreciate you coming on. You definitely drive a hard bargain. You're always welcome back.
Thanks, love. Have a good day.
You too.
Get reported. That was a new one.
What happened?
That was a new one.
What?
I didn't get reported. That was a new one.
I didn't take you where I wanted to take you. That's why. But I appreciate you coming in. I like that. Had a guest suggest that she did not get reported this time. And we do sometimes get into some strong topics, and that can happen. I'm glad she didn't get reported. I don't want anyone to get reported. I do believe in free speech, but like I told her too, I didn't take her in some of the directions I wanted to because I could see where her mindset was, and I wanted to ask her a few stronger questions, but it was a good conversation. Looking in the comments, Trump 2024, get back to business. How many of you folks with 91 charges think it is even possible for Trump to get reelected and quote unquote get back to business? Remember, if you're suggesting Trump is getting back to business, a lot of MAGA, my beloved MAGA, will tell you Trump had a hard time accomplishing his goals because they never gave him a chance from day one. If he gets reelected, we do realize that's going to happen again, right? I just want to make sure you guys understand that. Looking at the comments, he will never get independent and moderate Republicans back. Wow, NC Blue Dot, welcome to the program. I always like hearing from you. Certainly there's a lot of folks, including Chris Christie, and I believe Mike Pence even, are saying exactly what you're talking about. Going back to the box, we'll keep it moving with Electric Wolf 45. We're talking about, is President Trump dealing with a Electric Wolf? Good afternoon. Is Trump dealing with a liberal hit job, or is he actually potentially guilty of some of the things he's being charged with?
No, I pretty much think it's a government hit job. I think the Republicans, I mean, the Democrats are behind it, but I think the Republicans are happy to go behind it, go along with it.
So does he have any friends in Washington?
Shit, no.
So
That's how we like it.
But I get that you like it that way. I get that you prefer a businessman to run the country. But in a republic, the way our founding fathers designed this nation, it's not designed for one guy. You need a dictator to make something happen. If he goes to Washington and you are correct where you suggest he has no friends at all, how does he get the Senate or Congress to get behind any legislation he tries to pass?
Well, I think the thing is going to be he's going to need to get elected. Once he's elected, they're going to be like, shit, now we're going to have to actually work.
Did that happen the first time? Did that actually happen the first time?
With Mitch McConnell. It
Huh?
happened the first time with Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell came out. See, I don't know if you remember much with Trump when he was first elected. When he was first elected, he was trying to pass all these judges and stuff like that and get everybody through. And Mitch McConnell was like, he doesn't understand. It takes a long time. And he was like talking down to the president. And then Trump came out and I think he tweeted out, basically, the only thing that's taking so long is you being lazy, this and that. Right after he said that, that's when Mitch McConnell started doing it. Boom, boom, boom.
So let me present it to you this way. So you believe that if Trump gets elected, it'll light a fire in the butts of Republicans, and then they'll suddenly start working with them?
It's not like it's gonna light a fire. It's gonna light I don't know how you say it. I guess you know how you get caught watching porn at work and you're like, oh shit, you're trying to cover up the computer? That's what they're gonna do. Like, oh shit, we're gonna have to start working.
That's very funny, but wait a minute. If you believe the entire whole of Washington D.C. is against this man, what if they start working?
Of course, I don't think it's the entire whole. I mean, out of 100%, I would say maybe 70.
That's still a lot. I mean, considering that,
I know.
That would be all of the Democrats and a good chunk of the Republicans. So
that's right.
Even if you get in office and they decide to turn off the porno on the computer, how can you be sure they're actually going to go back to doing their regular jobs if that many people don't like them?
Because people aren't going to stand for them not doing anything. And I'm talking about both Republicans and Democrats. You watch. I guarantee you, Trump is going to take a shitload of Democratic votes. A shitload. Not just because they like him, but because they're like, you know what? We need this guy to get in there and stabilize this garbage that they're doing.
So what about the females that are currently losing the right to choose in a host of Republican states? You think they're going to want to go with Trump?
I don't think females aren't losing anything. If you want to, we've had this discussion before. You want to kill a baby, go across state lines if you have to. Just go kill it. Don't worry about it. It's still legal in a bunch of states.
So you're correct. We did talk about it, and my rebuttal to you was, if you're in Florida and as you say you want to kill a baby, just go travel 1,000 miles, find the money to pay for it, spend a night in a hotel and do it. And you don't see the women having any issue with that at all.
No, because that's where I think Planned Parenthood and the NAACP and LULAC and the ACLU and Planned Parenthood and the Democrats and everybody should pitch in and do a fund. Do a giant GoFundMe for these women.
So let's take what you said. A woman in Miami that has to travel hundreds of miles. A woman in New Orleans. I think the nearest place you could go if you're in New Orleans right now is either the state of Illinois or the state of New Mexico. So let's take what you said. She's in New Orleans. She wants to terminate her pregnancy. The liberal organizations, the NAACP, ACLU, and all these organizations chip in to help her travel to have the abortion. And then come election time, she's going to stiff the liberals and vote Republican?
I think it's a minority of the people that you're talking about.
But the women
I don't think there's that many women that are running to kill their kids.
Okay, but the women who are pro-choice, you do believe they're going to, even if they're not trying to have an abortion or doesn't want to terminate a pregnancy, you believe women who are pro-choice are going to ultimately vote Republican.
Well, yeah, women that are pro-choice aren't stupid, handsome. They know they're not. No one's stealing any rights from them, stuff like that. That's just a talking point on your side. I mean, that's all it is.
Here's what Here's what I'm confused with. If you could do something 2 miles away, and now you can still do it, but you got to go 1,000 miles away, you don't see that as any loss of right at all.
No, because that's states' rights. That's the whole point of the states' right and the republic that we have.
Okay.
That's the whole point.
All right, fair enough. So at the end,
I know you. I know you're a humongous liberal. I know you're gonna vote Trump. We had that discussion too.
Define what a humongous liberal is. I need to hear that. Elaborate on that. What is a humongous liberal?
You're such a you say you're a monster liberal. I just think you're a decent human being. But I think
you said that. I didn't say that. You said that.
Well, yeah, I think you're an all-out decent human being, but I think you're a huge liberal, or you want to come off as a huge liberal and stuff like that, but you don't believe in terminating. Look at what the Democrats go for, okay? Right now, they're for what? Abortion at 9 months, right? Up to 9 months.
This is what I believe. That part right there, to me, just like you said, women aren't losing freedoms. That's a liberal talking point. The argument that liberals are promoting 9-month abortions, or in Ron DeSantis' case, wanting to bring the baby back to the hospital a month after it's born and aborted, that's a right-wing talking point. Nobody's actually trying to do that.
Well, remember when Northam from Virginia, the governor of Virginia, said that, I'd make it comfortable. Remember all the scumbags that were there? I'm telling you, you guys brought it. You guys gave up the American flag because it was racist and it represented all sorts of shit. So I'll take the American flag. I'll take it. You guys make your own flag, your little whatever flag you're going to make, and we'll take the American flag. You're the majority. You guys look for the wrong thing to be for, and you're like, yes, that's what we're going to go for. And you die. You're dying on that hill. You want to. I don't understand why, but you want to die on that hill.
So in reference to liberals looking for the wrong things to support and dying on the wrong hill, do you think Republicans fighting to preserve Confederate statues is fighting for the right cause and the right hill?
No, but I think if you're fighting for the right to defend both sides, that's the whole part of free speech. You gotta, you're not pro or for it. It's a regional thing. We've had this discussion too. The Confederate flag doesn't mean shit to me, but I understand it means something to people in the northern states, southern, north and south, all that stuff. But it doesn't mean anything to the majority of people.
It certainly means something.
You guys are like pro the wrong thing. You want to mutilate kids.
It certainly means something to the Klan, because they always seem to have the Confederate flag somewhere on standby. So it means something to them.
I agree. Well, no, it means something to them, but that's what I'm saying. You and I would stand against that, and we're on totally different politics, but you and I would stand against the KKK, but you and I would stand for them to say what they're going to say,
That's a good point. And let me ask you that in regards to exactly what you just said, because you're right. You and I would stand against that. But let me ask you this, because earlier you mentioned about, liberals giving up the American flag and referring to it as racist. What I want to present to you is this. When you see someone like Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the anthem, everybody complains about that. That is unpatriotic, folks say. When you see liberals burning the flag, folks talk about that and talk about how unpatriotic that is. However, when you see the Klan walking down the street during their particular protests in a variety of U.S. cities, and they're waving a Confederate flag while preaching hate, can you explain to me why no folks suggesting that the Confederate flag is about pride and heritage challenge them at all? They challenge left liberals anytime they do something wrong against the American flag. But when you talk about the Confederate flag being about pride and heritage, why are there no Confederate flag supporters criticizing the Klan when they do that?
Well, they should.
But they don't. They don't, though.
Those are two different flags. See, Kaepernick has every right to kneel, they have every right to burn. I don't agree with it. I think they're scumbags for doing it, but they have the right to do it. Unfortunately, again, you and I would stand there and defend them to do it, even though it's something grotesque to me.
But that ain't what I'm asking you, though. I agree with the free speech preservation, but I'm saying you could take the Confederate flag and stitch it together with the American flag. And the same folks complaining about Colin Kaepernick do not, I mean, they sell Confederate flags stitched together with the American flag all over the South. And the same folks that criticize Colin Kaepernick don't seem to have a problem with that. Why is that?
That is something I wouldn't be able to explain because I wouldn't understand it myself due to the fact that I don't believe, like I told you, it doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, I understand I wouldn't buy one because I know what the Confederate flag means to me. But the thing is it doesn't mean, I know what it means to me, but it doesn't mean shit to me. You know what I mean? I don't like it stitched. I don't like anything.
Let me ask it to you this way. When you see Colin Kaepernick take a knee in front of the flag, what does that mean to you?
That he's disrespectful.
When you see the Confederate flag stitched together with the American flag, what does that mean to you?
That it's disrespectful.
So any reason why the country seems to complain about one and totally ignore the other?
Because they don't give a shit about the Confederate flag. They give a shit. You know what he should do?
It ain't about giving a shit about the Confederate flag. It's about
that's what I'm saying.
Hold on, but you said it's not about disrespecting the Confederate flag. You said it's disrespectful to the American flag. So why are they paying attention to one disrespect and ignoring another?
Because he's disrespecting the American flag. If he wants to, like I was going to say, if he wants to kneel on a Confederate flag and kneel and say, oh my God, you guys are the most horrible human beings on the planet, but I'm going to get rich and I'm going to still live in this country, he can do that, but it's not going to mean shit because it's not controversial because the American flag, you're trying to equate the American flag and the Confederate flag. The Confederate flag is not shit.
I asked you in both situations, you said it's disrespectful to Old Glory. And I'm asking you why is only one getting attention when the other one is disrespectful in your opinion too?
Well, the Confederate flag is, whatever they do to the Confederate flag, I don't care.
That ain't what I asked you though.
Okay, then I'm not understanding.
Let me make it clear. Why is one level of disrespect being treated different than another level, as you say, which is also disrespectful to the American flag? It doesn't matter that you don't care about the Confederate flag. You just admitted stitching the two together is disrespectful to the American flag. Why aren't they saying anything?
Well, why isn't who saying anything?
People who defend the American flag are not saying anything.
That's what I'm just doing right now.
You know what I'm talking about, Electric.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you this right now. For the majority of my people, which are Republicans, I'm going to tell you, I'm speaking for the majority of Republicans. We don't want anything stitched to the American flag.
Okay. So let me ask you this. When you seen a picture of a Confederate flag being proudly waved in the Capitol building, how did you view that?
It didn't bother me. I just didn't care.
Do you think
it doesn't always mean KKK. That's the thing.
Did you see it as disrespectful at all?
No, because it wasn't anything with the American flag.
So you can
It's just the flag. It's like the pride flag. That's all it is. It's the pride flag. Big deal.
What did the Confederate flag mean to the United States during its heyday? I mean, they're in the Capitol building waving around the Confederate flag. That had no meaning, no significance at all to you.
Well, no, it didn't have a significance to me. I understand why you may see the meaning in it, but if you're going to see that meaning, you're also going to see the meaning that was a Democratic flag, right?
So why do you think he brought it there? If it had no meaning, you're right in suggesting it was the Democrats that were waving the flag around during that time. However, I'm going to assume you realize that when he was in the Capitol building, that wasn't being carried by a Democrat. So why do you think he even brought it there?
Well, because it means that he's from the state that he's from. It's his pride. Like I said, it can mean that flag means. I understand what it means to the country, the Confederate flag, But I understand also, I can see people's points of what it means to them that has nothing to do with racism. But again, that flag means nothing compared to the flag that we fly. That's it. It's a simple flag. It's like waving a Steeler flag, a Jets flag. Steelers suck.
Yeah.
It's like 49er flag, a Dallas Cowboy flag, a Pride flag. Whatever flag you want to fly, there's nothing that compares to the American flag. You can't compare those two because it means nothing compared to the American flag.
Fair enough. I just wanted to point out, and maybe, and listen, we have a difference of opinion, but I'm fine with you stating yours. I'm just simply saying, if we think the American flag is being disrespected, it should draw attention anytime anyone is disrespected, and not just who we pick and choose, such as the thin blue line flag that the police often have with the blue stripe through it. That also goes against the U.S. flag code. That actually is desecrating the American flag by the actual code, by miscoloring a stripe. It says right in the flag code that the flag shall not be miscolored. So when they draw that stripe down the line, it actually goes against documented flag code. If you look up the U.S. flag code, it says it right in there that discoloring the U.S. flag is disrespect to the flag.
Okay, let me ask you. Now, you're saying it's the red, white, and blue flag with a stripe across, right?
The flag you see police wear, with it has a solid blue stripe down the line. I mean, you've seen it a million times. They had it on January 6th. It was there that day.
Yeah, but are you talking about the one that doesn't have red, white, and blue, right?
No, it can have red. It can have red, white, and blue, but it has a blue stripe down it.
Okay, if it's red, white, and blue and they change the stripe, I'm not for that. But if you have the Blue Lives Matter flag, which looks like the American flag, but it doesn't have red, white, and blue, they can do whatever they want. Again, that flag is just a flag. It's not the American flag. Now, if you do something and you punch a hole right through the American flag, I'm going to have a problem with it. If you spray paint something on it, or you could put BLM or some stupid shit like that, I'm going to have a problem with it. You can put All Lives Matter across that flag, and I'm going to have a problem with that too. You're
okay with maybe putting a bunch of rainbow stripes in honor of the LGBT community?
No, you can't do that. You can make a rainbow flag to look like the American flag, but you can't put a rainbow stripe on a red, white, and blue flag.
What if I got 50 other members of the LGBT community with me, maybe 10 of them are drag queens, and all 50 stars represent one of us gay folks?
As long as there's no red, white, and blue, if you're not well, on top of that, you're mocking it. But
how could you? Wait a minute, hold on. How could you sew a Confederate flag to the American flag and not be referred to as mocking the flag?
That's what I'm saying.
There we go.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
God damn it.
All right, Wolf. All right, it's always good talking to you, man. Come on back. You know what we got to do.
Have a good day.
You too. Wolf is always good conversation. Looking on YouTube, well, technically you're supposed to cut it and burn it if so much as it touches the ground. So I think most are slacking in flag respect. That's probably true. I don't know all of the flag code, but I've had a debate about it because folks were being critical of what the LGBT community was doing with the flag and suggesting that it was disrespectful and it violated flag code. And when I looked it up, I quickly noticed that the Blue Lives Matter flag, the fire department paints a red stripe through it, all of that stuff falls under the same category that you're disrespecting the flag. It's just that we support the police and we're willing to ignore it when they're doing it. And we don't like the fact that the LGBT community was doing it, so we spoke out. But both of them are in sewing a Confederate flag to it is outright ridiculous. The fact is, and I'll go to the box, but the fact is the Confederates, in regards to the Civil War, are responsible for more American deaths than any other war in U.S. history, because obviously both sides were dying were American. So how would you stitch an entity that wanted to divide America in half by force, literally the most divisive group America has ever faced, would be the Confederates? Not to mention they were promoting slavery and all kinds of other shit too, but there was nothing good from the standard of a respectful America that the Confederates were promoting. Yet they get to stitch their flag to the American flag. That's got to be the most prominent sign of disrespect to the American flag that there ever was. Going back to the box, we'll keep it moving. To Keisha, always a pleasure. I need to talk. I need you to get me back on track. Talking about Trump. Are the liberals trying to take this man out, or did he actually do some of this shit?
He did this stuff. Listen, I got something for you. Trumpty Dumpty wanted it all. Trumpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the fake electors and all of MAGA couldn't get him to be president again. Now listen to me.
You got my ears. Go.
Listen, after all that stuff that they done charged this man with, ain't no way he ain't guilty of some of it. Just they need to cut it out. They really need to stop. They think these folks just bringing stuff, wasting time, wasting taxpayer money. So now,
I think my caller, there you go. Are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
All the information, everything together, just for a show.
Well, what about the notion that they're doing it to take out their opposition? There's a lot of folks who believe that the only reason they're going after Trump is and they want to take out their opposition.
Handsome.
I'm listening.
Ain't no way Trump gonna flip all them votes he did not get. Ain't no way that all the people that still support him to this day. I don't care what the MAGA think. I don't think I'ma call them what they call other. I don't care what the rhinos think. He ain't gonna flip all them votes to become the president.
So how about
what nobody say?
My last caller suggested that because Trump is. Go ahead.
Didn't I tell you I don't entertain him because he need to let that electricity go because it done fried his brain? Didn't I tell you that last time I came up after him?
But folks. But he's not the only one saying this, Takesha. Folks are saying that because Trump is being mistreated so bad, a lot of liberals are going to switch over and vote for him.
Handsome, are you going to switch over?
Leave me out of this. Look, let me make it. Look, at the end of the day, I lean left. I am answering the question. Listen, you sounding like my divorce court judge. I'm trying to answer the question. Look, at the end.
Come on, sweetie.
Okay, hold on, shawty. Look, at the end of the day, I lean left. So Trump is probably not going to be my candidate of choice. How about that? Did that make it past muster?
And guess what? He ain't gonna be the other liberal candidate of choice either. So they need to really let the hope go. Ain't nobody hanging on Trump every word and thinking he the great messiah that's gonna return from the grave and get back in the office, but MAGA.
Well, it ain't impossible. You see, there's a lot of support. Did you see the debate? How many folks even admitted they'd vote for him even if he was in jail? I mean, there's a lot of support.
Listen, they did that so that they can get the votes that they need to get in. See, they can't let people know they're against Trump if he lose the nomination. They got to have MAGA to go along with them to win. People say what they want to say to get what they got to get. You think Chris Christie, the way he done talked about Donald Trump, is going to still support, come on, liberal?
No, but wait a minute. Chris Christie is not one who said he would vote for Trump if he was incarcerated.
Listen, the rest of them are lying. I'm telling you, they lying. They just saying that because it looks good to the other Republicans. You'll be surprised how many people get on TV and say they supported Trump that did not vote for Trump.
You know, it's interesting you would say. It's interesting. Hold on. It's interesting you would say how many people get on TV and say they would vote for Trump when they're actually lying. Because I'll tell you something. I get a lot of MAGA in my call forums here who tell me they voted for Obama at least once or twice.
And half of the MAGA ain't even registered voters. So we're not even going to entertain them. They don't even listen. They'll be going to the grocery store, getting in the check line, thinking it's the voting booth. Ain't nobody finna fool with MAGA like that. No, sir.
Wait a minute,
no,
you're telling me Did you just say half of the folks identifying as MAGA are not even registered to vote?
I ain't gonna say half, but you will be surprised how many people at them rallies do not vote.
So let me ask you.
Don't think because they out there saying Trump 2024 that they vote because they don't. A lot of people just like to be with the in crowd.
I don't know about the MAGA side, but I do agree because folks who suggest that Black Lives Matter are liberals and all, most of the folks that are looting and robbing shit, they're not card carrying Democrats. Them people are opportunists.
They ain't voting for nothing.
Right. Yeah, if you see somebody walking out of
everybody.
Yeah.
Don't assume that everybody at them rallies and stuff be registered, be actually doing, be actually voting. Because they're not. Half of them probably can't vote.
Yeah, that's another good point. They may be felons, but yeah, if you see somebody walking out of Target or Best Buy with a flat screen TV, the chances of them showing up on election day are pretty damn slim. They're not voting at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another thing you got to think about. He called his supporters every time he went down there, and surrender while they buying these shirts and stuff that said never surrender, even surrender 4 times. See, they don't even understand that, bless their heart. They don't know what surrender is. You buying a shirt that said never surrender, this man has surrendered 4 times. What kind of foolishness is he can tell them anything and they'll believe it, never surrender, and you done went down there and surrendered 4 times, him. But anyway, we ain't gonna even talk about this. The retardedness,
that's really, something that makes a lot of sense. That is really bad. That he should be on the run.
What you do when you go to jail and turn yourself in? You're surrendering. So we ain't even gonna entertain that nonsense. They get lying that stuff, talking never surrender. And the man surrendered 4 times. But you know how to get their money. They hypnotized. But listen, check this out. The crowd gets less and less each time he surrenders. The crowd is less and less. Them folks listen. Come on, Trump. Bless your heart.
But I'm going to have to move it on kind of quick, but I want to ask you this before I let you go. Chris in the comments, referring to you yourself, is saying people like you are why people are MAGA. What are you doing, Lakeisha, to stir up more MAGA and create more MAGA? Chris is saying people like you.
I got common sense. It's called having common sense, being intelligent, not being a fool for a man who put his pants on one leg at a time, just like they do. I'm not ignorant. I don't hang on every word one man says. I'm not indebted to a man that will never even spit on me if I was on fire. So yeah, I'm making more MAGAs because they ain't got common sense and they don't have good sense. And that's why they becoming MAGAs. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Chris, don't come for me. You evidently don't know me.
All right, Takesha. Good talk.
All right, Handsome, you have a wonderful day now.
Always do. Appreciate it. All right, looking in the comments, Takesha she's passionate. She never comes up short. And she, oddly enough, because her opinion is very passionate, I get more comments, more backlash when she's on here than most other guests. A lot of you guys really, particularly my MAGA folks, definitely ain't, there's not a lot of tolerance for Takesha. But listen, I always believe in free speech because I get a hell of a lot of strong Trump supporters as well. And you've heard, Electric Wolf that preceded her is a strong Trump supporter. So understand, I'm not just deliberately looking for liberals or deliberately looking for Republicans. I believe in letting folks speak. I try to bring them up in order, but TikTok moves you folks around. So understand that when you come in the box, I'm not going to limit or, ban or block you in any way, even when you're critical of yours truly. In fact, I often read comments from folks who are critical of yours truly, including up to phrases like, you're an Uncle Tom. I read all of that shit. So understand this program is always about free speech. Trump had me scared. I registered to, I'm assuming, vote just because of his behavior, says Youngix. Wow. I wonder how many folks registered to vote out of hatred for Trump. Now, I understand a hell of a lot of people believe that what Trump was talking about, the vision for America, encouraged them to vote for him. But I wonder how many new voters voted simply because they disliked the path Trump was driving the country in. Looking in the comments, sorry for my over comment. Smoke break is over. In regards to the commenter on YouTube, there's no such thing as over commenting. If I see your comments, I'll try to get to them. Preach, lady, preach. Biden 2024. Somebody else said on YouTube. I switched to Democrat after he got elected. Says that's wow. I get a lot of folks, particularly MAGA, that suggest they voted for Obama and switched to Republican. So you're the opposite of that. NC Blue Dot. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Blue Dot, North Carolina.
Hey,
Good. I haven't talked to you in a while. Good to have you back on.
I know. I've been listening to your live stream today. I'm working from home, and I just love Takesha. Like, I want to be like her. She's amazing.
So,
But I wanted to get on and talk to you about the Trump's electability.
please do.
Yeah, so, I mean, you were talking about his electability, and most Trump supporters that I've met are just now getting into politics within the last couple of election cycles, and me talking to them, they don't understand electability nationally. Being elected once is one time, but twice is a different thing, especially when you've gone through everything that he's going
Well,
through.
but getting elected twice, once you got elected once, it generally is easier to get elected for the second time if there wasn't that gap. If he was the incumbent running for a second term, it's hard to take down an incumbent. So, I mean, how many folks have only served one term in our lifetime? Probably but Carter and George H.W. All the rest of them got two.
Well, and there were reasons why they didn't get elected, right? Like their policy, and Ronald Reagan, he ran a good campaign against Jimmy Carter. I mean, we don't have to get into history, but what I'm saying is, with Trump's electability and the abortion situation, there's no way that the Republican Party can gain suburban women, moderate Republicans, and independent voters. It's not, the numbers just aren't there. That's my opinion. And
So what about the notion, I had a caller before Takesha suggested women haven't lost the right to have, pro-choice facilities. They just have to go a little bit further to do it. So he suggested that women, come election time, are not going to be that turned off by it because you still can go to a neighboring state and have the procedure done.
If you can afford it. Who can afford to get on a plane and go 4 states away to get reproductive care? We're not talking about abortions, just abortions. We're talking about women's reproductive health care, which is all encompassing. It doesn't just include abortion. And so we're seeing now in red states, they are having a hard time recruiting OBGYNs out of medical school and into their state to practice women's health care because of these abortion laws, because they're so afraid they're going to be criminally charged or lose their license. So there's ripple effects that are happening.
Yeah, it almost sounds like the same argument you hear from folks on the right suggesting that a lot of law enforcement are leaving the profession because they're afraid, specifically when dealing with minorities, they're afraid that they're going to be held to this ridiculous level of accountability. Well, they should recognize it because, like you're pointing out, it's now happening in the OBGYN field because of what the Republicans are in regards to their policies, where they can and can't do things.
Yeah, every time I hear Republican men talk about abortion, they don't know what women's health care is or how pregnancy works and how complex it is and how a lot of things can go wrong. And having exceptions available, 80% of Americans believe in access with exceptions, whether that's rape, incest, or life of the mother. So if I have an ectopic pregnancy and I'm in Louisiana, my doctor has to call the hospital attorney to determine whether it is legal to care for me, which is just insane. When women are dying, we're going to see the maternal death rate go up. We know it's 4 times higher for Black and brown women. So this is not just about abortion. This is about access to health care. So if we don't have OBGYNs in red states to practice, just pap smears and regular health care, women don't get overall health care. It's not just abortion.
It's interesting you would say that because there's a lot of women, well, I won't say a lot, but there are women governors like the woman up in South Carolina, or South Dakota rather. Does Louisiana have a female, or Alabama I think has a female governor, and they're supporting this stuff?
Yeah. Well, you've got conservative women that see abortion as a moral issue. Yeah, they see abortion as a moral issue and not healthcare. They don't see it as science. They see it as, you know, and I think that's the debate, is like, when is life a life? And people on the left think that it's viability, and people on the right believe it's actual conception, like heartbeat, which is just wild to me. So the abortion debate, I mean, if you look politically, if you look at Kansas is a red state, a red legislature with a Democratic governor. And if you look at the stats of that abortion rights kind of ballot initiative that they ran, people registered to vote just to vote on that initiative. And on the data, people voted for that initiative and did not vote for any other politician. They just voted for that.
But how about, like, for instance, in the comments, Jen is saying, I care more about our economy. How about the notion that women, even though they are pro-choice advocates, might vote, you know, against the inflation of the Biden administration or gas prices, and be willing to take the pro-life stance, just take it on the chin? I'd rather pro-choice, but right now in Biden's economy, I gotta go right because I believe Trump could get the economy back on course. You don't see any of that possibly happening?
I mean, people have a right to vote the way they want. That's what democracy is all about. But I mean, I think more women are going to vote for their autonomy and their reproductive health care, for their children, for their daughters, for their sisters, and more so than the economy. The economy is a big issue. I'm not saying it's not, but when it comes to women, like, the numbers don't lie, you know? And so I just worry for the Republican Party in this next cycle, because they're losing voters. And a lot of times in most campaigns that I have worked and volunteered on, it's how do we gather votes from independents and moderates for getting your candidate into office. And I don't feel like the current Republican Party is doing that. They're not seeking new voters. They're not.
Okay, one last question. Do you think it might be different if the Republicans put forth a moderate candidate that was not Trump? We understand that Trump has a lot of unfavorable numbers simply because of his mouth and rhetoric, even though some people, even on the left, like the economy he gave us, but at the end of the day, his rhetoric is divisive. What if they put forth Nikki Haley or Tim Scott? Do you think suburban women might be willing to support another Republican other than Trump?
Yes. If Nikki Haley, which she won't be the winner, I mean, she did great things from South Carolina, and I'm saying that as a Democrat, but what she did to bring economic incentives for BMW, for all the support businesses in the upstate, is incredible economic-wise. So she's a great candidate, but people are so driven by moral outrage, and they're driven by Trump's reality show presidency, that they cannot see a moderate, good candidate when they see one. Would I vote for Nikki Haley? No, I'm not a Republican, but a lot of suburban white women would, that sometimes vote Republican or Democrat. And so when you're looking at a national race like presidency, you need to think about those voters, those voters that vote cross-party on multiple elections. Yeah. And that's just the, you know, that's the facts.
Yeah. In other words, Trump is taking things too far to the right compared to a Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe that the Democratic Party, there's parts that are far left for the electorate. So, and that's the thing about politics that I love so much, is it's different depending on the community. So congressional candidates can run a more liberal campaign in certain areas of the country, and in certain other areas you have to be more moderate, because that's what the community calls.
What about DeSantis?
Nationally?
What about DeSantis?
Well, I thought DeSantis. Okay, this is, and I'm a big political junkie. I thought DeSantis was going to give Trump a run for his money, but he has fallen flat. He is not living up to expectations, and I think Vivek's going to kind of come in, and because he has that Trump-esque type of personality, because that's what the Republican base is asking for.
Well, I did a show the other day. Speaking of what you just said, I did a show the other day it was basically around a Ron DeSantis quote where he suggested that if you do not kiss Trump's butt, and that's an actual quote from Ron DeSantis, if you do not kiss Trump's butt, it doesn't matter what you've done for the Republican Party, they're going to call you a rhino. Do you believe that?
Absolutely, because the Republican Party has sold their soul to Donald Trump, and they had countless off-ramp opportunities to denounce him, to say no, and they refused because they wanted power instead. And they got their judicial stacks from the Federalist Society and Leonard Leo, and they also got their tax plan passed, which was their main goal. And so they got what they wanted with Donald Trump, and now they can't get rid of him, and they're losing all over the country, and we're going to see in this
All right, I got to move it on, but I don't see where you said they can't get rid of him. I don't see where they're trying to get rid of him. I think his support among his supporters has gotten stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, you're right. We'll see.
All right, fair point. Appreciate you coming in. Good talk. All right, you too. Looking in the comments, we're losing the country to woke, says who said that? I don't see who said it, but yeah, Tina, I think it says, in regards to losing the country to woke, I don't know if you escape by voting Republican. I think both sides have their version of what woke is, and they don't like the other side. To me, shooting cans of Bud Light, that's just as ridiculous as anything folks on the left is doing. To take a can of Bud Light out and shoot it because you don't like who they're using for the model. So, I don't know if you escape woke by going on the other side. And that's a good question, too. Mike Loud says, define woke. I don't know what the hell woke means other than I don't agree, or I do agree with what the current trend is. That's what woke means to me. It could be the defense of minorities, the defense of LGBT community, the defense of women, everything but a conservative Christian white male. If you're defending any of that other shit, you're woke. That's what I believe woke is, but maybe I'm wrong, and I'm willing to admit it. Tap the screen, by the way. I haven't been asking you folks to do that. Been around 1,000 of you folks in here throughout the entire program. Normally, I try to get at least 50,000 likes. I haven't been soliciting you folks. We try to deliver good content. I make it clear I don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Program always will remain MAGA friendly. What do I often say? If you enjoy civilized dialogue, both sides of the aisle, no fear of being blocked, banned, or censored by the host, you're in the right place. Follow the program. This is what we do Monday through Friday. Going back to the box, by the way, Italian Guido. I love it. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Are the liberals, is this a liberal hit job that Trump is dealing with, or all those charges that are being bestowed upon him, potentially legitimate charges for something he really did? Are the liberals just trying to hit on him, or did he actually do some of this stuff? Guido, talk to me. Italian Guido. I love the name, but apparently he's not ready to come up. We'll give it a second. Woke Trump is a thief. What has Trump stolen? I've never heard anybody refer to Trump as, well, I guess you could talk about the documents, I don't know. But what has Trump stolen to make him be referred to as a thief? All Republicans want to do is condemn and deny people that's not in their group. Yikes. Yikes, that's a mouthful. All right, let me see if I can keep it moving. I don't know what happened to Guido, but we'll keep it going with Smitty. Let's see what happens here. Appreciate you folks that are holding on. Maybe it's my side of the aisle. I don't know what the hell's going on. There we go. Smitty, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good to have you.
This is my first time watching your live, and I gotta say, it just came up on my FYP, and I've been completely engaged. Most of the lives on here are honestly one-sided, or they're just a niche kind of thing. But I think the discussions that are going on here, from just a few minutes that I've been on here, I'm super engaged with this.
Wow.
And
I appreciate that.
One thing I want to bring up, just because of the religion and politics that I grew up with, the geographic location that I grew up in, and my occupational background, most people assume that I am a conservative. I don't label myself a conservative or a liberal.
Well, let's dig into that. Pro-choice or pro-life? Where do you lie on that?
Pro-choice.
What do you think about the Second Amendment? Are you for shall not be infringed, or would you be willing to accept some common sense gun laws?
There is a very specific phrase in that amendment that I believe a lot of people overlook, and that is the two words, well regulated. That's in there for a reason.
Elaborate. What do you mean?
I carry a pistol every day, everywhere that I'm legally allowed to carry one.
Okay.
I worked in law enforcement. I'm a military combat veteran.
Thank you for your service.
I believe that in this country, everyone has a right to feel safe and secure and free, and that includes from every walk of life.
Let me rephrase it. I just turned 18. I have never been arrested by police at all. I have no history of mental illness. On my 18th birthday, the money I've saved from working at McDonald's, I want to use that to purchase an AR-15, maybe a couple magazines, 1,000 rounds of ammunition on my 18th birthday. Should I be allowed to get that?
Why would you? Okay, so my question to that would be, you can't even buy cigarettes unless you're 21 years old. So why the hell would you have a firearm? Cigarettes only kill you. A firearm will kill everybody else around you. So it's common sense to me. Common sense regulation makes sense.
Okay, that sounded kind of liberal of you. So how old should I have to be before I can use my money to get me an AR, couple magazines, 1,000 rounds of ammunition?
Well, let's make it commensurate with everything else that says you're an adult. You can't drink alcohol until you're 21. Now you can't use tobacco until you're 21. Those things are lethal. Those things probably, I don't know the recent statistics, but the most recent statistics that I've seen say that those things kill more people than firearms. But yet we won't put them in your hands until you're 21 years old by law.
Wow. You're talking liberal to me because I'm starting to like you. Ubalde is a perfect example of somebody who did the example I just gave, that fits what happened with the Ubalde shooter, but he actually purchased 2 ARs and even more magazines and rounds of ammunition. But it was that example.
Well, isn't that the same incident where the police just sat in the hallway?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, there's another issue there. I mean, there's things that, you know, a lot of people just back the blue, right? And like you were talking about earlier with the flag code and all, I understand that's not law, okay? But it is a commonly held belief, okay? It's something that the government endorses and puts out as a standard of conduct, okay? Just like in the military, you can have different beliefs, but you still have to adhere to the standard of conduct. There's a basic expectation that should be met. It's no different to me in law enforcement. Those men, it's completely unacceptable that they would sit there and do nothing while kids get massacred.
So
regardless, and it's a problem. I was in law enforcement, and when the first thing they tell you in a police academy is rule number 1 is you go home at the end of the day, no matter what, that's dangerous. That is dangerous rhetoric.
So in other words, when they tell you your main goal should be to go home at the end of the day, they're essentially saying put your life above those you're trying to save.
Without question.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. Go ahead.
The only thing that I feel like I'm conservative with is fiscal conservative. I'm a fiscal conservative.
So did you vote for Trump either time?
I will ashamedly admit that I voted for him the first time, the time that he won.
Why are you ashamed? Why are you ashamed to admit you voted for Trump?
Because I wasn't as informed as I should have been.
What have you learned? What have you become informed with? What have you learned since that vote in 2016?
Words that have come out of his own mouth when he's, giving speeches talking about killing babies because they have a different skin color.
Whoa! What did Trump? I gotta ask you. What did Trump suggest? What did he say to lead you to say that? He talked about taking the life of a baby due to skin color. What did he say?
I don't. To be honest, I wish I could
you can't just say. Come on, Smitty. You can't just say something like that and not be to back that up.
I heard the words come out of his mouth during an interview. He said, "Don't let them across. Don't let them over." And then somebody challenged that statement with the question of how do we do that? And he said, by any means necessary.
Yeah.
And they said, does that include the children that would be in these groups? And he said, all of them, by any means necessary.
Okay, so I think I understand what you're saying now. So you're suggesting that when it comes to coming into this country illegally, he would be in favor of potentially taking the life of somebody who's trying to enter America illegally, even if they're a baby.
Statement that I heard him make, even according to the statement that I heard him make, that was what I came to believe. Yes.
And the only reason why I ask you is you made a very strong statement, and you also mentioned color of skin too. So if he's trying to defend the border, is he trying to defend the border based on skin color or just wanting to defend the border?
That's a great question.
But you said skin color, so I'm trying to figure out where you got that from.
And that is my interpretation of his statement.
Yeah, I don't know. You might be. Listen, I make it clear I lean left, but you might be being a bit harsh on him with that. That's a big leap.
And I'm not saying that I'm not. I'm not saying that I'm any kind of authority. I'm just sharing my opinion. And see, here's the thing that we've gotten away from so much in this country is there used to be civil discussions about like this, about race, about, well, not so much about race. That has never really gotten to the point where it needs to be, in my opinion. But there have been civil discourse and disagreements where people could communicate their difference of opinion without fear of their life being put in danger because somebody didn't like what they said.
That is true. So
this part is we've gotten away from what we agree is fact. You know, any discussion about politics, you have to start from some kind of a basis of agreed upon truths, right? What we used to call factual statements.
Yeah.
But anymore, any factual statement is, oh, that's fake news, and it gets shouted down.
So
nobody will sit and have a civil discussion.
And we absolutely need more of that, which is why I try to let folks speak on my program. But let me ask you this: in regards to Trump, you made it clear you're no fan of Trump in 2023, even though you voted for him in 2016. What about Biden? Do you think Biden is doing a good job as commander-in-chief?
No.
So if it comes down to Trump versus Biden, and you think Biden is doing a poor job, would you be willing to give Trump a second chance?
No.
So if it's Biden versus Trump, where's your vote going?
You know, it's one of those things that I don't have all the answers. I would probably vote for Biden if I had to choose between those two.
Okay. What about the Biden presidency?
People have cast a vote in this country that said I had to vote for
the lesser of two evils. Smitty?
Yes.
Okay. So you're saying it's basically come down to a lesser of two evils?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And you're not the only one. You're certainly not the only one, but I do got to move it on. I'm glad to have you on the program. Anytime you see me on, feel free to put in a request. My door is always open to you, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Thank you for your service once again. All right, looking in the comments. Vote Von T. Put that on the t-shirt. Von T has already said, I'm with Smitty. Put it right on the t-shirt. There are more choices, says Sammy Allen. Yeah, there are certainly more choices. There's 7 or 8 Republicans. You could vote for JFK or Marianne Williamson. I mean, there's some other choices. But make no mistake about it, with the popularity of Trump with the Republicans and the dislike of Trump with the Democrats, I'm not going to say popularity of Biden because he doesn't have any, but the dislike of Trump with the Democrats. If you don't vote for Biden or you don't vote for Trump, it is essentially a vote for the other guy. If you lean left and you don't vote for Biden, your vote is just as good as an extra tick or notch in Trump's belt. If you are a Republican, whether you are a Trump supporter or a traditional Republican, if you don't vote for Trump, it is a notch in Biden's belt. It is that simple. The parties are that tribalistic. Voting for those other people, particularly on the liberal side, voting for JFK or Williamson, you might as well just take your vote and set it on fire. There is zero chance of JFK or Marianne Williamson getting the Democratic, the nomination. There's no chance of that at all. So you either vote for Trump or Biden, or you giving credit to Trump or Biden. That's really it. Looking in the comments, I'm riding with Biden. I see that in the comments there, and that is a campaign slogan, by the way. Not for Antichrist Trump. Wow. If Trump is the Antichrist, why the hell are there so many evangelicals putting it all on the line for Trump? They're not voting for Biden, even though Biden is known to attend Mass. Crystal, thanks for the lemonade. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Crystal. Going to the box, we're talking about the notion that what is happening to Trump is a liberal attempt to squash their opposition. We're asking the question, is what Trump going through? 4 indictments, possibly a 5th and maybe a 6th. I'll tell you about that in a second. But he could easily face a 5th and 6th indictment. Is all of this the liberals simply trying to get rid of their opposition? Or is it possible, out of the current 91 felonies that Trump is facing, he actually might be guilty of some of them? Going to the box. We'll make it happen with just the facts, ma'am. I love it. I love it. That's, what is that, Dragnet? How far back we going? Just the facts, ma'am. Tell me what Biden did before being president and during Trump 2024. Well, in regards to what Biden did as president, anything you credit Obama with, he's probably had some hand into it. Because one of the main reasons that Obama was given a chance is because people believed he had an experienced moderate as his VP. Remember, they always ask the question, if something happened to the president, is the VP up to the job? I don't think I heard anyone suggesting in 2008 when Obama ran that Biden would not be up to the job of running this country. By the time Obama got elected president in 2008, Biden was one of the longest serving members in Washington. So I don't think that anybody had a problem with the notion that if something happened to Obama, that Biden could run the country back then. Now, obviously, folks are saying he's failing mentally and things like that now, but they weren't saying that back then. They were saying that Obama could not run the country. By the way, before we go back to the box, real quick, mentioning Obama, remember he was running against McCain in 2007, Joe the plumber. Remember that guy? For you folks who are old enough, spread the wealth around, what Obama told him on that street. Joe the plumber passed away today. Just wanted to point that out. Apparently at 49, age 49 of prostate cancer. Joe the plumber, may he rest in peace. A big Tea Party spokesperson for a while. I think he may have even ran for Congress, if I'm correct. Let's keep it moving. Eric Scott Hawkins. I don't know what's going on with the box. Let's try to see if it brings up Eric Scott. Good afternoon, Eric.
Hi, how's it going today?
It's going really good. Good to have you on. We're asking about what Trump is facing. He's suggesting it's a liberal attempt by his opposition to prevent him from running again. Is that possible, or do you think he actually may be guilty of some of the charges that he's facing?
I think he's guilty of, I would say, about 90% of them.
90%? So you believe he may be incarcerated?
I'm hoping.
Why would you be hoping that a former president of the United States goes to jail? You really want him in jail?
No, a prison.
This ain't getting no better, is it? So,
No.
do you think that would be good for the country?
Yes.
How so?
And the main reason is if he goes to prison and he's in prison, and it doesn't matter what Republican nominee that gets that place, half the votes are going to Donald Trump as a write-in, even though he's in prison, and then the other half will go to the Republican. So whoever is running as a Democrat will win.
So you sound like you're trying to have Trump locked up because you're his opposition. You almost sound like you're fitting the definition of what he's talking about.
I was his opposition when I first saw him in the movie Home Alone.
He just just walked by and said hello to Macaulay Culkin. That's all it took. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get your boy likes up to 70,000. There's over 1,000 of you in here. I appreciate you rolling with your boy. His Home Alone cameo was all you needed?
Yeah. I had a dislike for a human being in my entire life until I saw him.
So, if Trump has created such an ire in your own heart, why do you think he was such a fan favorite? Hell, even with hip hop stars and African Americans, he's on television. Everybody seemed to like Trump until he became president. Why is that if you had such a hatred for the guy?
I knew a lot about Trump before Home Alone 2, but that was the first time I actually saw him and heard his voice. And
I've never heard somebody say they started hating Trump when they seen him in Home Alone 2. That is hilarious. All right.
I would say little Rascals, but I can't remember which one came out first.
So what made you, I mean, I get that you started hating him back then, but what is it about Trump? What has he done so wrong to be on your bad side like that?
Just the way he is as a person. I mean, seriously, it's like you got all these people who literally worship Donald Trump. Like him. I don't think I've ever worshipped a human being my entire life. I mean, it's just not something you do.
Yeah, but if the fact that people worship Trump is what's making you hate the man, that makes you come across as a hater. It doesn't make you sound like you're mad at his policies or what he's did. You sound like you're hating him just because he's favored so much. I mean, people worship Martin Luther King. Do you hate him too?
Say that very last part again.
I said the fact that you're saying you hate Trump because people worship him makes it sound like you're not hating him because he's done anything wrong. You're hating him because of his popularity. It makes you come across as a hater. Martin Luther King had people that worshiped him. Did you hate Martin Luther King as well?
Not old enough to remember Martin Luther King.
Okay, all right.
I know about him.
What about Michael Jordan? You hate Michael Jordan?
No, he's a basketball player.
Right. I'm just wondering, so has Trump actually done anything wrong other than people worshiping him to make you dislike him?
What he does to the working class, the majority of where his money comes from is getting investors to invest in his projects and then declaring bankruptcy and the investors getting fucked over.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now you're talking scams. Now we're talking something legitimate. Okay, so you believe that he's been basically a snake oil salesman. Sounds like what you're trying to paint him as.
He's a con artist.
Mm.
And if you can't see that and I don't want to try to insult everybody that follows him, but if you can't see that this man is conning these people, you're the mark.
Give me some examples of, since Trump became a politician, of how you believe he's conning America. What has he done since 2015 to lead you to believe he's conning it? Because a lot of folks believe he's done really well by America, by the United States. What has he done to lead you to believe it's been a big con?
The ones he gets that follow him, the telling people, oh, I love the poorly educated. And stuff like that. He has even made a comment way back when he was a Democrat that he would change, if he was to ever run for politics, that he would change to a Republican because you can get them to vote for anybody.
You know, I've heard people say that. I've never heard them say that, but I have heard, you're not the first person I've heard suggest that Trump stated he switched parties because the Republicans are not as smart and easy to, basically trick like that. But I haven't heard him say it, so I don't want to repeat it until I see some actual evidence of him saying something, which is harsh. That's pretty cruel if he actually said that.
Look it up on YouTube.
I have
I'm not
to.
going to say go to Google or just look up Trump wanting to run as a Republican. That's all you got to look up, and you'll see that interview.
Wow, so that alone to some degree, that is con-worthy commentary. I mean, if he said something like that, that I only want to be a Republican because they're dumb enough to, I mean, because you hear us on the left, oftentimes, particularly by those on the right and MAGA, being referred to as sheep. But if President Trump is on video suggesting that he wants to be a Republican because the Republican constituency, it consists of a bunch of sheep, that may be worth a show on its own. I gotta look that up.
Please do. And I follow you, so if you decide to do a live, particularly on that, let me know. I'll be more than willing to jump in with you.
Yeah, if you happen to slip in your boy DM, send me a link. I'm gonna look it up, but if you got the link, by God, send that to me because I'm really eager to see that.
Oh, I definitely will do.
All right.
In my past, I have voted both Republican and Democrat, but I had to get away from the Republican Party after Obama got in, because when you look at the way the Republican Party has got to the point where, oh, we're going to guarantee that Obama was only a one-term president, how dare a black man be in office?
You think it was racism?
Oh, definitely.
Wow.
Definitely. I grew up with two extremely racist parents, and I have two extremely racist sisters.
So how do you respond to folks who suggest, vote for me, you ain't black, the crime bill of the 90s, of the early 90s, that Biden is the racist one, and that Trump has done more for blacks than any president in our lifetime? How do you respond to folks who say that?
I don't see what he has done for black people, period.
They're going to point to the jobs numbers. The unemployment rate in the black community was doing pretty good at that time. They're going to point to HBCUs. They're going to point to some talking about criminal justice reform. I mean, he did do a few things. I'm not going to say he turned into Black Jesus all of a sudden, but he was talking to the community.
Yeah, but he was also riding the coattails of what mostly Obama did.
I hear that a lot.
Economy and everything was on the up.
Yeah, I hear.
What people don't understand. Yeah, it's what people don't understand is, in the first couple of years of a president being in office, he's still dealing with the stuff that the last president left.
True.
Good or bad. Good or bad. It doesn't go, oh look, Biden took office on this day and everything went downhill. No, it went downhill before Biden got into office.
So Biden is more than halfway through his first term. If he gets a second, we'll say first, but right now he's halfway through his first term. How do you think he's doing so far?
Not great.
Letter grade. Give him a letter grade. A, B, C, D, or F.
I give him a C+.
Slightly above average.
He is not the one that I wanted to see get the nominee. He's not the one I wanted to see run for presidency, but he did the number one job that we all wanted him in the office for.
Bringing us together?
Get rid of Trump.
Oh, so would it be safe to say that you are a never Trumper?
Never.
All right, fair enough.
I will never. The only way I could actually get behind Trump is if he was to plead guilty to all of his charges that he knows he did.
So he'd have to put on an orange jumpsuit before you support him.
If he pleads guilty and quits trying to push everything to the point to where he's hoping a Republican is going to get into office, or he gets in the office, to give him amnesty on everything.
Yeah, we know that. He's certainly trying to get everything in federal court and delay it till he can get in office, or as you say, a friendly candidate can get in office. We know that. I think that's pretty obvious. But all right, Eric, good talk. Good. Appreciate you coming on, man. I got to move it on.
No problem, man. You have a very nice day, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you. By the way, folks, tap the screen. I think we got to around 1,100 of you folks in a minute there. Get your boy up, maybe to 90,000 if you let your thumbs not be lazy. We do not block, ban, or censor anyone on the program. Program is, always will remain MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. We don't censor or block you when you come into the box. Understand you don't have to agree with the host. This is not an echo chamber, so I do appreciate you folks tapping the screen. And if you do enjoy civilized dialogue, both sides of the aisle, nobody's being blocked, nobody's being censored. Understand we've been doing this for over a year. We don't even have a damn moderator. So when we say we believe in free speech, goddamn it, we do. Don't want to use the Lord's name in vain, but I get passionate. I do believe in free speech. All right, looking in the comments, real quick, somebody said, I want to ask a question. Holly Caps, ask away, ask away. Very unliberal to not be censored. Drew, not if you're a moderate. Not if you're willing to concede points on the other side. I might lean left, but I'm not tribalistic. I can see flaws in the left. I can see flaws with the right. So I'm not tribalistic. So I'm not going to censor folks on the right because I believe sometimes they have the right answer. And then I believe on the left as well. And for folks who often wonder, why the hell would a liberal have a MAGA hat in the background? I make it clear, I believe that Republicans, conservatives, and particularly MAGA do not get a fair shake in the mainstream media. Oftentimes when they state their point, they are blocked, banned, or censored right away. The purpose of the hat is to let folks know this is a MAGA-friendly program. No one has to agree with you, but you will always have First Amendment free speech rights here, at least as long as I can preserve it. So there you go. All right, going back to the, somebody said, okay, you lost me at that hat. I get that. I do get that. Holly Caps, you wanted to ask a question. I want to hear an answer. Shout out to Radio Shack. You got questions, we got answers. Holly, good afternoon.
Oh, good. Am I on?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I want to know how you feel about the Asami guy.
Vivek Ramaswamy, Vivek, or whatever it is. I had two problems with him. First problem is he suggested that he wants to raise the age of voting from 18 to 25 with one exception. Huh?
Sorry, I think that's bad too.
Yeah, he gave an exception. 18-year-olds can continue to vote if they either enlist in the military first, become a first responder, police, fire, ambulance, or they can pass a civics test similar to what we give immigrants coming into the country. I'm no fan.
He wants me to vote too.
Say that one more time.
He wants to do the civics test to even be able to vote.
Yeah, but only for 18 to 25-year-olds. That's where.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. Sorry.
Yeah, and for me, that alone, taking away voting rights or putting a hurdle to a God-given right in this country of being able to vote, that alone makes Vivek that's a deal breaker for me. That would disqualify me from voting for anybody.
I totally agree. But I do like him, but I don't like that part of him.
Yeah. Here's another. I mentioned I had two issues. Now, when it comes to President Trump, we know he is a strong Trump supporter, which there's nothing wrong with that. However, I don't like the notion that he has stated already if he was to become president, he would pardon Trump. Trump may be innocent of every damn thing that is being presented against him. However, I do believe the prosecutors should have their day in court to at least be able to state their case. If he is saying right now in August of 2023 that he will pardon Trump, then he is just as biased as any never-Trumper walking the earth, because he's already suggested, I don't care what they present, I'm going to pardon the guy. That's no different than a never-Trumper or somebody that hates Trump. So that too is a deal breaker for me.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I'm like in the middle of everything.
Nothing wrong with that. We need more people like you.
I'm so both sides. And I like watching you because you're like you don't hate on anybody, really.
I appreciate that. That is the motto, yeah. And I get hated on a lot myself. I do take a lot of flack for my moderate stance.
Because my parents are so for Trump and I don't understand it.
Well, wait a minute. Even though I lean left.
My mom's like, Trump, no Biden. Trump, no Biden. And I'm like, well, I mean, I can see... obviously, I don't like Biden. I don't, but I don't care. I mean, I would have rather had somebody else in the other side. I don't know.
Who did you vote for in 2020?
Oh, you mean like for Trump?
Trump or Biden? Who did you vote for in 2020?
I'm very terribly sorry to say that I did vote for Trump.
2016, Trump or Hillary Clinton?
I did not vote. I was very torn.
Okay. So you didn't vote in 2016 at all?
I did, but I don't even want to say my vote.
I need to hear it. Come on now. You know where you're at. I ask you this type of stuff.
Hillary. I like Hillary.
So you like Hillary?
I'm like I will go either way. Whatever you say, but I'm like so like in the middle. I wish that there would be somebody in the middle, like for like abortion and for like armed things like guns. I'm in the middle of everything.
But think about what you did. You voted for Hillary. You lost. Trump won. You seen 4 years of Trump, which was enough to make you want to give him an additional 4 years. Biden is around now. I'm going to assume you're not a big Biden fan. Why wouldn't you want Trump to come back?
Biden's terrible.
Yeah, so why not vote Trump back in?
Honestly, Trump is like a big kind of crap show. I'm not gonna be rude or anything, but like I like watching him because he like is like funny, and he like makes things interesting.
So why wouldn't you? If you think he's interesting, you think he ran the country.
Also, he does. He is really good for the country, though.
So why wouldn't you reelect him?
I don't know. Can we not have anybody better?
But you liked him well enough to give him a second chance. He may have lost to Biden. By the way, do you think he actually lost to Biden?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not trying to like drop any more votes. I'm not like a retard like that. I mean, who does that?
Well,
I'm not one of those people.
Well, Trump said he won by a landslide. You don't believe that?
People win when they win. I'm not gonna like say, hey, give me some votes, and I'm not calling up people to give me any votes.
So what you mentioned in the phone call, I have to ask you then, 91 charges. Do you think he's guilty of any of that?
Obviously, he's guilty of something. Who does those charges and is not guilty of something?
That's a good point, because I think most of us, if we were an employer and somebody put in an application, you ran a background check and you found that they had 91 charges, that would be the stance that most of us would say. Who the hell got 91 charges and they're not guilty of something?
I'm not trying to be, obviously, like, I really do think Trump did something for the country, but obviously if you have all these charges on you, there is something that you did wrong.
Yeah. And no chance they could all be a political witch hunt, as I'm seeing in the comments here. Big Wig said a political witch hunt. What about 91 charges all fabricated by the liberals to prevent him from being president again?
I mean, he could be dismissed of all these charges, don't get me wrong. You know that he can be right now.
Yeah, but then again, we could be visited by aliens tonight. 91 federal charges beating all of those.
There are aliens. There are aliens.
Yeah.
So it is true. Yeah, so either one of, they're aliens.
But you would have to admit that defeating 91 charges, most of them by the feds, when they got like a 95% conviction rate, the odds of doing has got to be somewhere near the Powerball at this point.
That's why he's trying to go into the upper court, obviously. Yeah.
I mean, whether he did it or not, I've said this before. I've given this example that even if I believe my mom is innocent as Mother Teresa, if she had 91 Fed charges, I'm looking at my mom like, there's got to be something you ain't telling me. There's no way all of these different people are making all this stuff up on you. I would even be critical of my own mom. Now, obviously, we do have the haters tuning into the program, because my last guest just got banned or blocked. I don't know anything that she said that was worthy of what just happened. So whoever generally tuned into the program and do whatever they do, apparently they just did it. In regards to my last caller, certainly appeal that. There was nothing there. You didn't say anything at all for them to take you off the program. So that should be an appeal that person can win. I mean, I talk about this quite often. It really pisses me off that TikTok does this. I don't want to go into a long rant, but the notion that they act out of an incredibly huge abundance of caution will take somebody down. Like in that case, there's nothing there. There literally is nothing there at all for why that happened. So apparently somebody who's watching, the program or something like that did not like what the person had to say. Now, I often suggest that folks doing this stuff are liberals. That last caller was a liberal. So that didn't come from a liberal. So understand that. So we may have some folks on the right that are hating as well, because a liberal would not have done that to that last caller. That was either somebody on the right or just a program hater. That was not a left-wing hit job there. So I want to make sure that folks understand that we got haters on both sides. That shouldn't have happened, though. Really shouldn't have happened. We didn't even get too deep on a lot of shit for that to happen. Looking in the comments, please block the My 18 Plus account. I don't know how to do that, but that is some really good advice I may look into, because we're not conversating with folks under 18 anyway. I don't think I've ever had a caller where I mistakenly picked up and they were under 18. I think that I've never had that happen, but I will look into that. I didn't know that was something that needs to be done, but I'm getting shit like what we just experienced often enough that, yeah, I do want to investigate that. She said the R slur. Racist? You know how many times I say that? Unless you're talking about R meaning something else. That doesn't get you banned alone. If this doesn't go so fast, I type what I want to say. Well, you got that point across. You should have spent that line typing what you wanted to say, because it caught my attention. Apparently, a bunch of people have a problem with it. Well, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Racist is a word in the dictionary. I get the N-word is in there too, but racist? That actually is a description word. I've said it numerous times on the program. I've asked folks, do you think Biden is racist? Do you think Trump? It didn't get me banned. I don't understand. I don't think that was the case. I don't think that's what happened. I think somebody is hating on my last caller. I get what you said. Now I see it. I won't say it, because you may be right if that's the R word you're talking about. Not being mentally sound. We used to do the ring around the head for those who are old enough. That R word, okay. All right, maybe that did it. It's crazy, though, that you can get banned for this stuff. I suppose referring to gay people with the F word probably would be another one. I gotta start writing this shit down, because I do believe in letting folks speak, and all of these words nowadays, not to sound like Archie Bunker or George Jefferson, but this is shit we used to say when we was coming up. I know it's wrong, because folks were saying the N-word about me. I get it, but I am an old dog, and you're coming at me with new tricks. Shit ain't that easy. All right, looking in the comments, the woke Democrat wave fake ass outrage. That's a mouthful, my 3 kids. I don't know if that's it. I'm also new, but it piqued my interest. I want to say I respect your views in helping people speak out. M.A. Cart, thank you. Appreciate that. Let me take another call and we'll keep it moving. Is Trump dealing with a big-ass witch hunt being perpetrated by the left to prevent him from becoming the 47th president? Or is he actually potentially guilty of some of these charges, totaling 91 right now? And real quick, I'll go to the bias, but just want to say this. I told you earlier, he could be facing a 5th and 6th indictment. I think most of you know what the 5th is. State of Arizona. He actually won, I think he won Arizona by even fewer votes than Georgia. And Arizona officials are suggesting that he was pressuring them very similar to Georgia. So I think the courts in Arizona are investigating, possibly indicting him for a 5th time in the state of Arizona. So what is a 6th indictment? Number 6, more controversial, less heard, less discussed. Remember the summer of 2020, summer of love, Black Lives Matter, rioting, looting all over the damn place. You had Black Lives Matter raising money from a host of different organizations and people, misappropriating the money Folks were suggesting that Black Lives Matter, the head of the foundation, was corrupt, buying yachts and buying mansions and all kinds of shit with the money. Some of them ultimately were charged with crimes like mail fraud and wire fraud. How the hell does this tie into President Trump for a 6th indictment? Remember, Stop the Steal. Once again, raising money for a cause to stop the Biden administration from stealing the election. Here we are 3 years later, August of 2023. There is not a single court in America that has officially stated they believe that Biden and his administration was trying to steal the election. So there was millions of dollars raised for a cause that no court in America believe existed. Where is the money? Where did the money go? Very similar to Black Lives Matter. Where did you spend the money? There has been political analysts stating that Washington, once again, another federal charge, is potentially looking to indict President Trump and his camp for a fraudulent Stop the Steal campaign. Millions of dollars were raised, very similar to Steve Bannon raising money to put your name on the wall. Raising money, if you want to point out Black Lives Matter, raising money for either a cause that's fraudulent or using the money for something other than the cause itself is a crime. Obviously, the money raised for Stop the Steal did not go to stop Biden from stealing the election because no court believes that was even happening. That could lead to a 6th indictment. Just want to point that out. All right, looking in the comments, and why is he making money on his mugshot? Thought criminals couldn't do that. That would have to be handed down by the court. The courts could tell him he could not make money off of being indicted, but I don't know if they can stop you from making money before you're actually convicted of anything. Let's say I was charged with murder, and while I'm waiting to go to trial, I start taking interviews discussing what happened. If the courts didn't tell me I cannot discuss it, and I'm making money off the interviews, I don't see where you can stop that. Right now he's not. And listen, Obama made money off of his birth certificate or whatever the hell it is. I don't have a problem with Trump making money off his mugshot. I don't see it. And what about the model guy with the green eyes that made a ton of money off his mugshot? People make money off mugshots. Going back to the box. We'll keep it moving. Kane's back up. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the program. Rainy Kane. Hopefully TikTok lets you in.
Hello.
There we go. Good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Tap the screen, folks. Go ahead.
I just think what you just said was such BS, Tim. To compare like somehow BLM stole all the money. What jail have they been in?
Well, let me respond to that.
They had.
Let me respond to that. If BLM,
I'm talking about BLM, the organization, not some Rudy Poo.
Yeah, I support BLM, the movement. It's BLM, the organization. If they receive millions of dollars and they're spending that money on luxurious items for themselves, nobody gave money to BLM so that they could go out and buy mansions. That's what I'm comparing it.
Yeah, but is that against the law?
Yeah, nobody. You know what you're.
No, they didn't buy matches for themselves. They bought matches for the organization. That's the key here. Come on, man. Come on. That's why they not in jail. That's why they not in jail. They're college educated.
You come on here to defend BLM by using those semantics like that.
How did you know I didn't come? I came up here to tell you how dare you use them in the same lens as Donald Trump. Like, literally, he knew he lost an election. Literally knew he lost. And he stole $200 million from his supporters, even after the election. $200 million.
I don't see how they're different. Tell me how a mansion for BLM is helping out the organization or the movement in any way.
You're calling it a mansion. This was in Inglewood, California. Come on, man.
All right, we got
it. This wasn't in Bel Air. Stop it.
We'll agree to disagree on this one, because I do believe no one was donating money to BLM for them to buy luxury items for themselves, even if they are in Inglewood. That's not what the whole purpose of this was.
They bought, they bought property for their organization, and they claim they were putting people a part of the organization and putting up families a part of that mix in these places. Anyway, again, I don't care about that. Honestly, to me, you can't convince me that you're going to get 3 educated black women to break the law. And under the Donald Trump administration, none of them find a way that they broke the law. Even under Joe Biden, nobody has said that
That's not true. If I'm correct, some of them have been charged with mail fraud. I don't believe that's true.
Not BLM, the organization. Again, we're talking about these runoffs. I'm saying BLM, the organization that you're talking about, the quote-unquote people who bought the mansions, none of them have been charged a single case. There are 0 cases in American law. None.
Okay. All right.
So anyway, I didn't come up here to argue about them. I'm just saying about this man here. I just thought that comparison was flawed. That's all. And if that's your 6th case, then he's also going to have a 7th. He's going to get charged in Michigan too. Everywhere this man tried to quote unquote stop the steal, he's going to be probably an 8th in Pennsylvania. I mean, you got to think about it. This man was criming all over America.
So at the end of the day,
better votes in Democrat areas.
But at what point does it start to look like we are obsessed? I mean, what do you got? 4 indictments right now. You start getting 5, 6, and start counting up like you count Dracula. At what point does it start to look like it's overkill?
How is it overkill? Was it overkill when he was breaking the law?
No, you make a good point, but even with us regular citizens, if you go out and murder somebody and you run from police and you're speeding while you're running from them, by the time you get to court, the speeding charge is not brought up. I mean, you don't go for every petty charge you can come up with. It seems like with Trump, they're throwing the kitchen sink at the guy.
Okay, well, let's use your analogy, and let's just say he was the Gilgo Beach murderer, and this man killed hundreds. I mean, he killed lots of people. Do we just only charge him for the one, even though those people are dead?
That does happen, though. But that does happen. Sometimes if it's harder to prove one murder, they may go talk to the family and tell them, look, he's never going to get out, but it's not even worth the time of going for the pursuit of your son or daughter's murder when we got him on 10 other murders. And if that way you don't have to rehash this and hurt your family all over again. That does happen, where they don't go after a criminal for a known crime if they got him on enough. I mean, Trump already has enough stuff on him that would bury him for the next 7 generations. Do you really need another charge?
I don't know. We have to prove a point to somebody in the future. You cannot do this. I mean, to me, this is the preservation of our country.
Rainey, he's currently facing 700 years in prison. I don't want to sound like Tina Turner, but do we need another hero at this point? 700 years. What else do you want to pin on the guy?
I mean, if he was convicted of at least one of them, I probably would be in your court. But he hasn't even been convicted, so why not keep charging him?
All right.
I don't think he's going to jail. Listen, I live in that reality. I think Donald Trump's a fucking criminal, but I don't think he's going to jail. I don't think there's a single judge in America that would jail a former president. I just don't see that.
I don't know about. I think because I wouldn't normally agree with you, but Trump is so insulting and boisterous to judges that he may have somebody send him to jail just on GP, because he is like right now with the judge down in Georgia. He's already said negative things about her and talking about people's family and things like that. It wouldn't surprise me if one of them along the line was like, fuck it, 30 days or whatever. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody puts him in jail.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think that he's about to prove a point to America, and there are people who are above the law. We all knew before Donald Trump even was a part of our schematics. We all knew people were above the law in America. Yeah. This government has been trying to tell us all our life that nobody's above the law. Bullshit. We're about to see. And Donald Trump's going to prove it. He's going to be above the law. Period. I live in that reality. That's unfortunate. But we have to tell others, man, you can't do this shit because your whole crew is about to go to jail. These other yahoos that try to help him,
they're going to go to jail.
They're going to see some time in jail.
Yeah.
They're going to see some time in jail. So we have to do this process. He is not going to jail. That's what
something.
everybody was willing to go to jail for him. I would never have my black ass in jail for no Joe Biden or no other Democrat. It would not be a thing. I'm not losing my freedom for no politician. These people on the right are willing to go to jail.
But think about it though. If you go out, I'm from the south side of Chicago. I'm sure you spent time in the hood where you may be. We have a no snitching clause in the hood. If you work with the feds on President Trump, are you safe after doing that? If you go to jail, do you need to be in the witness protection program? MAGA is serious. Can you snitch on Trump and still be safe?
Man, I think they're gonna have to put them in what's the special jails? They call them the country clubs. They're gonna have to put those people in them jails. They're not going into regular general pop jails where, somebody could call in a favor. That's not happening.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I just had to come up here and say that real quick. I'm like, wait a minute, Jim. You compare appeal, neither of them got charges. None of them.
I gotta look that up. I'll give it to you for now. I'll concede to you for now, but I gotta look at it. I do believe there were some charges made in regards to BLM raising money. But if I'm wrong, I'll certainly tell you on our next conversation. Appreciate you coming in, Rainey. All right. Looking in the comments, I do see someone say they got sued. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. I will tell on my mama to get out of jail, says user 936. Wow, you really are a snitch. It's hard to say if you snitch on your mama how that would go in behind the wall. They may beat your ass for that. You snitched on your own damn mama? Give me back my ramen noodles. I don't trust your ass. Looking in the comments, the Trump hate is wild, says Go Jeff Tigers. Well, listen, I'm going to make it clear. I do believe there's a hell of a lot of hate for the 45th, let me stop, for the 45th president. However, it's not like the hate hasn't been earned to some degree. Trump likes to fight. That's the reason MAGA supported Trump. That's the reason why you love the guy. By the way, get my damn likes up. 110,000. Y'all can tap the screen. Show your boy some love. Appreciate that. But Trump likes to fight. And it's not all self-defense for folks who suggest, well, yeah, he hits back. No, he hits. Trump gets in fights that have nothing to do with him as well. So you're going to get hatred if you like attacking people. It is what it is. I've said before numerous times that I strongly believe Trump would be enjoying the conclusion of a second term if he wasn't so boisterous and such a bomb thrower. But his voters, his constituents, his supporters, you guys like the bomb throwing. So when he's out there, Sleepy Joe, Crazy Bernie, Nervous Nancy, and you guys are cracking up and celebrating, you really were helping that man talk himself out of a job. Or at the very least, I'll submit to those who believe it was stolen. Whether you believe Trump lost the election in 2020 or you believe it was stolen in 2020, it's all for the same reason. His mouth. Because if you look at his economic numbers and the way America was being ran, I don't believe he did anything to really lead to Biden winning the election. It's not his policies. Ain't nobody bitching about $2 gas, even on the liberal side of the aisle. When you talk to folks who do not like Trump, you talk to Democrats who did not vote for Trump, it's generally things he was saying and things he was tweeting. It's not his policies. When you talk to folks who support him, what do they say? Don't vote based on emotion. Don't vote based on your feelings. Vote based on what he was doing for the country. So even his supporters are admitting it is the shit he was doing that led folks to get in their emotion and vote against him. Or if you believe the election was stolen, why would you steal an election from a guy who was running the country properly? Well, because he was attacking so many people. He was an outsider. It's the same shit. Whether he actually lost legally or illegally, it's for the same reason. Up to and including folks who suggest, well, they never gave him a chance from day one. All of that stuff happened for the exact same reason. People were in their feelings, he was trying to piss them off, and he succeeded. If your goal is to anger people, you can't get mad when they actually get angry. You succeeded. That's what you wanted to do, right? How many of my beloved MAGA often brag about drinking liberal tears? Well, you didn't have a problem when they were crying at the ballot box, did you? Just want to point that out. If you like chaos, you can't be mad when things get chaotic. Anyhow, folks, you know what it is. This is indeed a lunch break live. Appreciate all you folks tuning in. 114,000 likes. Still over 1,000 of you folks in here. If you do appreciate civilized dialogue, both sides of the aisle, follow the program. We're here Monday through Friday. Doesn't cost you a damn thing. Nevertheless, we don't block, ban, or censor anybody for their commentary. We often let folks come on. You can be critical of the host. We invite you to do that. Understand, we will challenge you on your opinion. Real quick in the comments, he paid off Stormy Daniels. Yeah, I do believe the notion, the accusation that Trump paid off Stormy Daniels with campaign funds, probably true. But at the same time, I do believe that if he was a more presidential president, they wouldn't have went after him for that bullshit charge. I'm not here to pretend like the charges that Trump are facing are not politically based in nature. Doesn't mean they're not valid charges. But I do believe a hell of a lot of the things that Trump is facing. Andy, yeah! Appreciate the hat and mustache. I do believe a lot of the charges that Trump are facing, he would not be facing if he was a more presidential type guy. And obviously, if he had conceded the election in 2020, he certainly wouldn't be facing some of the whole indictments. I mean, it's just the stuff that's coming out of his mouth that has caused him a lot of problems. And now he's doing it with judges, which could also lead to him being found in contempt and things like that. So at the end of the day, you're going to have a hell of a lot of folks that support Trump that are going to be arguing that he did not get a fair day in court. What do I say on every program? If you go to court, I don't care if it's for speeding. Oh, Andy with the lightning. Thank you. Thank you. Shit. Got me looking like Liberace. I don't care if you're in court for speeding or for murder. If you're criticizing the judge that is actively overseeing your case, it's not going to be a fair court appearance for you. A lot of your objections may not get sustained. A lot of your requests to delay, things like that, are not going to go through. At the end of the day, this judge, who is liberal, according to Trump and his camp, she didn't have a choice in regards to whether Trump was going to be her subject in her case. I mean, as a judge, they give you the cases. You don't pick and choose what cases you want to have. She didn't have a choice that Trump was going to be a defendant in her court. Now, she could recuse herself and say she don't want to be over the case, but she didn't do anything for that to fall in her lap. So calling her deranged and all kinds of names and shit before the cases even began, even as a Trump supporter, you have to know that's not in his best interest to do that. You don't need to be Trump's attorney to realize criticizing a judge that's over your case is a bad idea. Certainly before they've done anything worthy of criticizing. She hasn't done anything. Well, now she has finally said that he couldn't delay it for 2 years, but maybe, once again, maybe his mouth has something to do with that. I'll leave it up to you guys. I'm certain we'll have a host of shows on this. March is when that case begins. So things are going to get pretty interesting throughout 2024 because Trump has a lot of court dates, a lot. He's going to be in court more than a damn bailiff. He's going to be in there, more than Judge Mathis. I don't see it. I just don't see how you could run a successful campaign when everybody is telling you to come to court. And you heard my last caller suggest that he's committed the crimes, they should keep indicting him. And we've already discussed there's at least 2 or 3 more indictments that could literally be, legitimately rather, be thrown Trump's way. There's snitches all over the place, all of this. I just don't get, even if he is the best president in U.S. history, how anybody thinks he can successfully run a presidency amidst all of this shit orbiting around him. Even if you believe it's a liberal hit job, you gotta look and start saying they may succeed at this. I just can't see how you plan on running the nation's highest office with all of this stuff orbiting on you. How much evidence is going to come out? You know the feds and prosecutors don't tell you every damn thing in the beginning. So you got to assume tapes are going to come out, recordings. Some of the folks that are in his inner circle, like the Giulianis, are probably going to snitch. Sidney Powell's already requested a speedy trial. It's going to be a mess. And we're all going to have a good time discussing it. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. See you later. YouTube, for you folks that have been tuning in, I do appreciate it. My video on YouTube is not the best. I get it. I got to get some better equipment. We will make that happen soon. I see the numbers. The numbers on YouTube are just not as strong, but I will certainly try to make a better presentation on YouTube. But for now, I got to go. Catch you guys later.